Alright guys, today we're gonna be reacting to German culture shock as an American. I think we reacted to another video about her. I'm gonna put the links in the description down below, that way you guys can just show some support. Make sure you like to subscribe. Let's jump in.
Today is going to be some Germany culture shocks which I experienced while living in Germany. So I have 13 differences that I found while living in Germany. And before we actually start this video, I do want to put a disclaimer on the screen that these are all my experiences. These are things that I've experienced while living in Germany. It might be different from your experience, but of course I'm just saying what I experienced. So just a disclaimer. So let's jump right into the video with the first difference that I found while living in Germany. So I'm going to start with something typical. I'm sure everyone has heard this if you go across YouTube, but the first thing obviously that an American would notice while living in Germany is that everything is closed on Sundays. You cannot go grocery shopping, you cannot go to the mall.
Yeah.
Everything is literally closed, and this was super hard for me to adjust to in the beginning because randomly I would like to go grocery shopping on a Sunday, or you just forget something and it happens to be a Sunday and you want to get something, but things are closed here on Sundays, so you cannot actually go out and get anything.
That's mostly in Europe. I don't know if in UK it's like that, but I know Spain, Italy, yeah, they go the siesta, and in Spain they go the siesta as well. They take it seriously. I'm not surprised.
But restaurants are open, so you can go to a restaurant. Okay, so the second thing which I've noticed, which I think is a little bit of a culture shock for me as a New Yorker, is the fact that everyone here really follows the rules. And this is not a bad thing, okay? I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. One example of that is when people are crossing the road. Again, I'm from New York and people just cross the road. If it's free, if we see no cars, we're just gonna cross the road. But in Germany, if the crossing road sign is not on green, they're not gonna cross the road. Yeah. And just an example.
And you know what's crazy? Because they have community. And New Yorkers, they live in a city that they don't have community. It's not your fault. It's just that you live in a place where community doesn't really exist. And the way some Germans think about this is the reason you should not be crossing is because of the kids. See, they're thinking about the community and not thinking about you. It's more about the kids.
Of how intense people really follow this rule. I lived in this really small town a few years back, and it was about, I don't know, 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. I was going to pick up my sister from the train station, and I was walking there and there's no cars on the road, absolutely zero cars on the road. It's too early, there's nobody around, and people were still waiting at the crosswalk for the crosswalk sign to turn green. It is literally like that. So the next thing that I want to talk about as a culture shock is definitely the recycling. Recycling is taken very seriously here. In most homes that I've been to in Germany, they have different boxes for different things like paper, like bio, plastic. There's also a water box. There's so many things for recycling. Again, this is something that's really good and we should all be doing it, but it is a huge culture shock coming from America because I've never really seen someone have multiple boxes for recycling.
She's from New York. It's a little bit different, right? But in the Midwest, you can see that more often. New York is a very strange place because it's very progressive, but they don't do anything progressive. They don't follow no rules. They like to. New Yorkers, especially in the city, because they're very progressive, they want to be actually like Germans in North Scandinavian countries. They want to be like them, right? They want to have their same system, but zero responsibilities. Isn't that crazy? They want to take the Northern European country system, but they don't want their responsibility. And those responsibilities are simple tasks like this. Making sure that if you really believe in recycling, you have to start at home. New Yorkers are not going to follow that. I'm not saying her, right? She looked like a very smart person, and I'm assuming that she really followed the rules. But I can tell you from personal experience, right? This is anecdote. New Yorkers, they lack discipline. They lack discipline. They want to be like, Sweden and Denmark and even Germany. Even introduce their system, but they don't want nothing to do with the responsibility that come with that system.
obviously for plastic and things like that, but in America it's normally that you put everything in one bin, which is not very good, and it's a huge difference here. And I have another experience about this where people really go hard for their recycling, which is fine. In my last apartment, I've actually had an old German couple, like I was throwing out my trash and they checked my trash to make sure that
You
it
follow
was
the rules.
recycled properly.
Yeah, they follow rules, and we need this in the United States. We need this. We need discipline. Discipline. It has to start with this.
It went into the trash.
I need that.
and
I
was
need
like,
that. I'm gonna be honest. I
Is
need
this
that.
recycled properly? And it was. It was. But they just wanted to make sure because they can obviously tell that I'm a foreigner. So they were checking my trash. The next culture shock, which I find a little bit, hardcore as an American living in Germany, is definitely the see and the do formalities that they have here.
Yep.
For example, if you're in the office, you're always saying see to people that you don't know or just managers or supervisors
Very
or whatever.
formal.
And you have to then ask them if it's okay. If you're friendly enough with each other, you can ask them if you can use the informal version of you. So see basically means you. You can use the informal version of do if you know them properly. And for me, this was a big culture shock. Also learning the language that you always have to change between which type of you that you have to use, and then it also comes with different conjugations, which is just a little bit different because we don't have this in America. I think the closest thing
We
can
do.
say is we have Mr. and
We do have in America. Hey, see, this is when you don't know formally, when you don't know somebody, or you feel like you don't have a very close connection on or very comfortable relationship, you usually use the last name instead of the first name. Or you don't use you, right? You say Mr. Smith or Mrs. Phillips. So you also go with their second language. In New York, they don't do that. Okay, I want Germans to understand this. In New York, they don't do that. In the Midwest, in the other part of the countries, we use the former language, right? And this is just to avoid people not feeling like, hey, you crossing the space. Mr. Smith, Mrs. Phillip, Mr. Ruiz, right? You don't say you. Then when things get closer, you can refer them with their first name. Or usually we use the last name. But New York City or New York, I don't even know what the hell they use over there. It's just a crazy place.
Mrs., I suppose, but with the actual word you in America, we call everyone just you. There's no formal you, there's no informal you, it's just you. The next culture shock, which I've noticed in Germany when I used to take the bus, if, for example, a pregnant woman...
And for Germans, do not use you like that. You might be getting in trouble. Don't use you. You are that. You are that. It's very confrontational. Don't use that. I'm telling you, folks, you don't say you to somebody that you really don't know. It can get confrontational. Use them by the first name or the last name.
Would come into the bus, or an old person would come into the bus, it's just natural that someone would get up immediately to give their seat away. And in New York, I have not seen that ever.
Zero.
I've never seen it. I'm sure it happens, but I've never seen it. But I've noticed on every single bus that I've been on, people always get up for the old people or the pregnant women and make way for them to sit down. The next culture shock, which I found while living in Germany, is the smoking situation. In Germany, I could also say this is maybe a European type of thing, but it's a huge culture shock for me because everybody is smoking. Literally everybody is smoking. I'm seeing like kids outside smoking, and I feel like it's not as looked down upon as it is in New York, per se, or America to be a smoker, but here everyone is smoking. To my next point, which is...
Well, I'm wondering, right, a lot of people smoke. How's the cancer rate in Europe? Is it high or lung cancer? Let me know in the comment section below.
is the tipping in Germany. So what I've noticed is that in Germany, obviously you don't tip as much as you tip in America. Tipping in America is a must do. You cannot go to a restaurant and not tip the waiters a nice amount of money, you know, because they're making most of their money from tips. And so in Germany, when you do go to tip, I mean, necessarily, I guess you don't have to, which is what I've been told. You don't actually have to because they're making their normal wage. But when I've seen people tip, they're mostly tipping to round the bill up to like an even number. For example, if the bill is 23.5 euros, then people will tip, okay, let's just give you 26, for example. So that's what I've noticed. Tipping is not a big thing here in Germany as it is in America. So this next one, it could just be limited to the area that I'm living in. But I find that it's like wine country, so a lot of people are drinking a lot of wine. So
that's more a European thing. When I was in Italy, in Bulgaria, I mean everywhere in Europe, everybody was drinking wine. So I think that's more like a European thing. Let me know in the comment section.
Wine everywhere. I guess the main reason for that could just be because I'm living in the south of Germany. So the next culture shock that you might find if you come to Germany as an American is the taxes. So they are no taxes in Germany. That's not true. So if you go into the supermarket, for example, and you want to buy a stick of chocolate, for example, it will cost you 2 euros. And when you go to check out, you pay 2 euros. It's not like the tax is not included and you have to pay 2 euros and 5 cents.
So the tax is already included in the price?
No, the tax is already included in the chocolate. So when you go out to check out, you just have to pay that price that you have seen, which I really, really like.
I like that.
In America, you go, you see the item without the tax, and I don't know why we don't just include the tax within the product and then just pay for it with the tax included. So the next thing has to do with the Autobahn and the fast driving. Normally, if you hear German, you just obviously think about fast cars, Mercedes, etc., etc. And I did not really think that they would be driving as fast as they say in the movies or as fast as the stereotype is, but they're actually driving that fast on the Autobahn. But what's crazy about it is they're driving fast and they're driving safe, which is a little bit weird. So in America, obviously you have your speed limit and obviously, you know, people are always breaking the speed limit. But here, the speed limit is already so fast and in some places there is no speed limit. So they're actually going extraordinarily fast.
Wow.
And as a new driver, I've been driving in Germany for a year now. Compared to driving in New York.
Hey, shout out to her, man. She went and took her driver license exam and passed it. Based on what a lot of you guys have seen, telling me, and what I have seen, a lot of the videos, the German driver license tests are very hard. Shout out to her. And that means that she knows very good German. If she managed to just go through the test, she probably knows a very good German. Shout out to her. Congratulations.
So fast. My little car is literally vibrating as I'm staying on the right side. It's literally vibrating as these fast cars are just zooming by my little car. And when I mean that they're driving fast and driving safe, well, first of all, when you go to take your driving license here in Germany, you have to go through a lot of processes to actually get your license. I can only speak for New York. Unlike in New York, I felt that it was very easy. There's not a lot of questions to study for in the theoretical.
Very easy. I got 100%. 100%. Like, I didn't study a lot because I was preparing to something bigger, but it was not. So I got 100% right out the gate. And I took it took me 5 minutes to finish the entire test. The entire test. I'm not lying, folks. I finished 5 minutes and I was like, am I missing something here? I had to go back and review it a couple times just to make sure that I was doing something correctly. I was not messing things up.
Here in Germany, I had to take everything all over again, so theoretical and practical to get my German driver's license.
Good for her, man.
And it was very difficult. I failed the theoretical twice. It was like over 1,000 questions that you actually have to study for and know to pass this test. And the practical was also, you know, you really have to know the road and know the signs. And that's what I mean by that it's a lot safer, I feel, because people study a lot longer.
And this is one of the few things that I would love to be incorporated in the American system. Making sure that our driver license are top notch. Our exams are top notch because we have to increase our, oh my goodness, how do you call that? Our standard when it comes down to these things. Yeah, we have to.
And a lot harder to take the German driving test. And
Yeah.
also, there's one thing which I
Think
like.
about it. If you pass the test and it's a very high standard, that means that you are being responsible. You're already responsible. You took the time to go through it, and not only to go through it, but pass the exam and go to the driving lessons. And the drive lessons are very hard as well. And you pass the test, which is gonna be hard. At the same time, you're good to go.
About the German Autobahn is that you cannot, overtake on the right side. So if you're driving and you want to overtake the car that you're behind, you have to go to the left and then go in front of him. You cannot overtake on the right side. That is illegal. So
Wow.
the next thing has to do with coupons. So as an American, and as an American with a mom who was a hardcore coupon clipper, in Germany, there's no such thing as like big savings coupons. For example, in New York, my mom, she used to cut a lot of coupons for the supermarket. We have a big family, so she would cut a lot of coupons, and we would go to the supermarket. We would have like a big cart of food and big cart of stuff, and when we would go to check out, she would be going through all her coupons, and you can, mix and match and do whatever, and in the end we would pay pennies for a full cart of food because of all the coupons she had. And the coupons also extend to, beauty products, CVS. But in Germany, I find that there is not this coupon culture. You cannot save a lot of money at the supermarket with a bunch of coupons. It's just not a thing, and I've never seen it. If it is a thing, please do let me know. If there are coupon clippers in Germany, let me know, because coupons really do help. And for me personally, I love coupons. I'm a big saver, so that's why this was a real culture shock for me, because I like to save money on things. So the last thing that I want to talk about has to do with the German supermarkets. And this is a huge culture shock for me, because shopping at a supermarket for me is a leisure type of fun thing that you do and you get your stuff and then you just leave.
I agree with her. I love to go to my supermarkets, take my time, look at the food, enjoy my kids, enjoy my wife, seeing my wife picking up some of the vegetables. I love that. I'm a weird guy. I understand. I'm a weird American. I understand. At the same time, love to be in the supermarket and just take my time. Take my time.
In Germany, it is calming when you go to pick out your stuff. It's a nice supermarket, you pick everything up and you're ready to go to the cash register and you're ready to check out. All your stuff is on the belt and you're at the end. And the thing which I found super hard to ingest is that you have to pack your stuff ASAP as soon as the woman or the man at the cash register scans your item, because they leave literally like this much space for your items at the end, which means they do not want you to stay there for a long time. They want you to pack your stuff with some speed. And I'm sure there's some reasoning behind why they do that. Obviously, I guess to move quicker. But for me, it's a huge culture shock, because in America, when you go to check out the cash register,
take your time.
It's this huge like runway where all of your groceries go. You pack it at your leisure. There's no rush. There's no anything. No one is looking at you like, why are you taking so long to pack your stuff? It's just a long runway. You take your time. It's 100% different than how it is in America. So look out for that when you're going to go grocery shopping. It's going to be a little stressful when you're checking out. So that was the end of my culture shocks, which I face in Germany. If any more come to my mind, I will of course make a part 2 of this video. If you have your own culture shocks about living in Germany, if you're from the States or from another country, definitely include that in the comment section below. Obviously, let's all be respectful. This is just a fun video.
Yep.
Hope you guys are staying super healthy, and I'll
Hey, shout out to her, man. I mean, she did one of a lifetime kind of experience. Go to Germany, learning the language, and going after the driving test. I don't know. And all these things, right? They are very outside her norm, right? Shout out to her. Not only that, in a different language as well. And clearly, this is something that I noticed. You see the aesthetics that are in the outside that really help to become a better human, a very more organized, very well individual. Good for her. Good for her. I mean, as individuals, we have to make sure that we take these experiences that are good and just keep it very close to our heart, and that way our future generations can be better. I understand there's things that you're not gonna like. Well, those things that you don't like, you put them to the side and just keep the good ones, right? And the fact that you mentioned something about the recycling, I like that. That not only for yourself to have a better organized mind, but for your kids. You see, teaching your kids to organize things from early on not only increase their IQ, right, which is a very hard thing to do, but show them accountability, show them responsibility, show them order. I think this video was a W, 100%. Make sure you guys go to her channel, show some support and respect. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Do you guys agree with her? Do you guys don't agree with her? Either or, let me know in the comment section below. I will really appreciate your guys' commentaries. I try my best to just go through them. Meantime, guys, I'll see you in the next one.